Welcome to another episode of Life Executed. My name is Stacy. Thank you for joining me again today. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of today's talk, I wanted to just give those of you who are considering real estate or those of you who are just starting to get involved in real estate a little bit of a day in the life of a real estate investor. Today I had to run to the bank. I had to pick up some things. I've gotten several calls sending papers here and there to whoever's requesting things. This is what it's all about. Um, so, for those of you who have seen previous videos, you know that we're set to close on our first duplex this week. We're 4 days out from closing, and I'm super duper excited because the first part of this marathon that is real estate investing for this particular property is almost coming to an end. And then once we have the keys, we can start with the rehab and getting new tenants in and getting rent, right? So we're almost at the finish line of the acquisition part of this entire ordeal. And I'm really, really, really excited and eager to get into the house and start renovating it. But today I had our lender called. She wanted a copy of the earnest money check. She hadn't, for some reason, hadn't received that yet from the listing agent. She couldn't get in touch with the listing agent, so I went ahead and got a copy of it and sent it off to her. Then she wanted an explanation as to why there was this huge deposit made into our account a couple of weeks ago. I had to write a letter explaining that and show the copy of the check that was deposited and why it was deposited, and just headache stuff, just nonsensical stuff. But this is what the lender wants, and in order for us to close, we've got to give them what they want. So I had to run to the bank and get a copy of the check, fax it over to them in addition to the other disclosures, the letters, and all that stuff. Then I'm looking at some properties in a neighboring town and called and made an offer, a verbal offer over the phone to the listing agent there, waiting to hear back from him. Called the same area because I'm vetting property managers in the area. Several phone calls, lengthy phone calls, because you're interviewing, you're writing, you're asking questions, they're sending packets of information to you, they're asking you questions. You're just trying to get a feel for, a potential manager who may be managing your tenants and your property. So it does take some time. Let's see, what else did I have to do? Email. And insurance, oh my gosh, insurance sometimes can take the most time out of anything. We're getting this duplex. I had to get a deck page from my insurance agent to send to the lender because she couldn't for some reason get in touch with her herself. So I had to be the middleman, and I got it done like within 20-30 minutes. Then I'm having to change our policy because it's being updated next month for another rental property that we already have. And I want to change a few things on the policy just to make it a stronger policy. So I had to call her and talk about the details of that. We're in the process of getting an umbrella policy. For those of you who don't know what an umbrella policy is, it's a policy that kind of covers all of your other insurance policies for your primary residence, your car, other rental properties that you may have. It just gives you an above and beyond insurance on top of the insurance that already exists. So we're in the process of getting that done. Just nonstop stuff. So this is what it's like. I had to go out. I looked at a few properties in the neighborhood while I was out today. Didn't see much of anything. A little bit of driving for dollars. Didn't find anything today. That's what real estate investing is like. It's passive for the most part, but it is not 100% passive. There are certain things that you're going to have to do to keep your properties up, to keep everyone in the loop in terms of what's going on with the property, to keep yourself organized. And sure, you could pass all that stuff off to someone and pay someone to do those things for you, but you'll never ever really be able to remove yourself 100% from the real estate investing process. So in that regard, it's not 100% passive. It'll always be probably, I would say, semi-passive. And half the battle is really finding a great property manager once you get a property done, or you acquire it, you rehab it, and you got a tenant there. Just managing the property manager. That's the easy part. It's all the nuts and bolts of getting the deal done and making sure the insurance is right and catching mistakes that may be on a deck page or whatever. It's just a lot of paperwork, a lot of shuffling paperwork. So don't let anyone tell you that real estate investing is 100% passive. It is not. Okay. But I enjoy the work. I enjoy doing it. I just wish I had 100% of my time to devote to it. And of course, because of the full time job, I don't have 100% of that of the time to do that. So I'm looking forward really to scaling back and then eventually stepping out of my hospital career for that reason alone, really. Just will give me more time to focus on the investing. But today I wanted to talk about this. I was on the forums today, and I perused several real estate or and several investing forums, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, mutual funds. I read financial independence podcasts and forums. I peruse all of them. And today I came across a post from a person who was talking about paying for lifestyle coaching and real estate coaching, giving this guru like and when I say tens of thousands, I mean like 20, $30,000 for a training program. And the reason why this person wanted to pay all this money for the training program is because, and this is almost verbatim what they said, they wanted to pay the money to take a course that would help to calm their fears, the fears that they had regarding investing. And I thought that was really, really odd. And so I responded to this guy and I said, so essentially, you're willing to cough up tens of thousands of dollars for someone to make you feel more comfortable about investing, to make you feel less fearful about investing. That says a lot not only about the gurus that are out here, but it says a lot about the individual who's willing to give that kind of money away to someone who really is going to quell your fears and your trepidations about putting money into an investment vehicle. And I just told him to stop. Like, just stop. Think about what you're saying. Because if you're willing to throw that kind of money at someone just so they can soothe you with their words about investing, you probably would be willing to give 100,000. Or, how much money is it going to take for you to get over your fears and just to jump in the pool and do a deal? And so it got me thinking about gurus and the power of gurus. These gurus are really making a lot of money, and a lot of them are not making money. They're not making money. Their sole, how can I say this? The money that they're making, the majority of the money that they're making, isn't coming from this investment vehicle that they're trying to teach you. It's coming from them teaching you this investment vehicle that they say they're an expert in. And they're making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money not giving you the nuts and bolts, the tools to do deals, but they're giving you a pep talk on all this fluffy woo type of stuff that at the end of the day won't get a deal done. And it drives me nuts. So the title of this vlog is likely going to Be Your Own Guru. You have to learn, you got to get to a point where you become so knowledgeable about what it is that you're doing that you don't really need a guru. It would be a futile exercise and a really expensive exercise to pay a guru to teach you investing or to teach you whatever it is that you're trying to learn. I don't equate gurus with mentors. I think mentors are fantastic, and I have mentors. I buy their books, I listen to their podcasts, I read as much material from them as I possibly can. And a lot of my mentors, all of my mentors actually, don't even know that they're my mentors. When it comes to real estate, all of my mentors in real estate don't even know who I am. Yet they provide such valuable information. And it's enough for me to just take whatever they give me and I just run with it because I'm that hungry for knowledge, and I'm hungry enough that I want to know exactly what I'm investing in, what I'm trying to accomplish here. The more you know, the less fearful you become. You have to become your own guru, though. You have to know what you're investing in cold. You have to know it so well that you can enter into conversation about it. You can start telling other people about it. You can point out some things that just don't sound right with other. It's like someone will bring you a deal and you're like, that wouldn't really fit my criteria. And I can tell you why, because of this, this, and this. Or, I really don't invest in that area very often. And I'll tell you the reason why is because of this, this, and this. You have to really know. I'm sorry if you hear my phone. I'm telling you, today's been a day, like a day. Um, but yes, I'm sorry about that. You have to become your own guru. You have to know everything there is to know about investing, everything there is to know about the investment vehicle that you're trying to pursue. It made me really sad to read that post from him, because you could tell that someone that is willing to pay this kind of money for a soothsayer, essentially that's what they are, they're soothsayers, um, must really have a lot of fear about putting money towards a real estate investment. And then I started thinking to myself, why would someone be so afraid? And the only thing I can come back to is lack of knowledge. That's everyone's fearful to some degree of the unknown, but you've got to be awful scared of that unknown to allow it to paralyze you, that you don't take action, paralyze you enough that you just don't do anything. Or what you end up doing is throwing money down the toilet. It just is amazing to me. And so it kind of segues into what another topic that I wanted to discuss here is, and that is, what does it really take to succeed in real estate? Because I think a lot of people have misunderstandings about what it really takes to be involved in real estate investing, or like I said, any kind of investing. It could be, like in this case, it was mutual funds, or picking funds, picking indexes, picking stocks, picking options, whatever it is. I think the first thing is education. The number one thing you need to succeed in real estate or in any investing is an education, a proper education on what you're investing in, the ins and outs. You need to know the language. You need to know what people mean when they talk about return on investment or cash on cash return, or I invest in C-class neighborhoods, or um, the internal rate of return on this deal is not what I'm looking for, or what a cap rate is. You need to know what those terms mean. And if you don't know what they mean, you educate yourself. You pick up a book, or you go to the forums, or you ask an investor that you know what these terms mean. You Google it, you find out what it means. But you have to be educated beyond the vocabulary of investing. You have to know the investment vehicle very well that you intend to pursue. For instance, I love single family homes. I love small multifamily homes. When I'm looking at a single family home, what is it that I'm looking for? I'm looking for, and to me, what makes a good single family investment, right? I'm looking for a good roof. I'm looking for strong mechanicals, meaning the electricity's been upgraded. I'm looking for a hot water heater, HVAC, electricity's up to code. I'm looking for a good floor plan. I'm looking for it to be in a good location. What does that mean, a good location? It means that the schools are decent because folks want to send their kids to good schools. It means that the house is not across from a power plant. It's in a true blue bona fide neighborhood with other homes. It has a nice lot. It's not on you don't have to climb Mount Everest to get to the house. It's a decent, if it's an incline at all, it's a decent incline. There's a yard for kids to play. There's space for dogs, pets, cats. Um, it's easily accessible to public transportation or to the freeway, the highway. You have to have certain things, in mind that you want to see when you're looking at location, single family home or multifamily or whatever it is, commercial property. Is it on a busy street? Are there enough eyes that are on that building every day? Is it a multi-use building? Could it only be used as a auto mechanic shop, or can it be used Is it an office space where it can be used for an accountant or a lawyer or a tax preparer? You know what I mean? You have to be thinking about what it is your investment vehicle needs to have in order for it to be of interest to you. Education. You have to educate yourself. You have to know who the players are in this game. You need to know who the realtors are in your area. You need to know commercial lenders. You need to know residential lenders. You need to know the rules regarding investing on the residential side, 1 to 4 units, and the commercial side, 5+ units. You need to know what the lending structure is for both sides, especially if you're going to be investing on both sides. Um, and you need to know the language that applies to both sides as well, because there's some different things that people talk about on the commercial side that aren't really discussed on the residential side. You have to educate yourself. That's the number one thing I think that you have to have in order to be successful in investing. The second thing I think you have to have is persistence. You're going to hear a lot of no's from a lot of people. You, especially as an investor, realtors are going to tell you, no, I don't really want to waste my time with $50,000 properties. No, not really interested in anything less than $100,000. Commercial lenders may say, no, we deal with $1 million acquisitions. We don't really deal with folks who are looking for 5 units that are less than $200,000. You're going to hear a lot of no's. Property managers that, sorry, I have enough on my plate, can't manage your property right now, or can't manage your property anymore. You have to find someone else. Um, Contractors who can't make it to your deal to take a look at it and give you a scope of work or a bid. Lenders who, because of your finances or because you don't have a W-2, um, won't lend on your property. Private money lenders who will tell you, no, you haven't done enough deals, sorry. Hard money lenders will say, no, this isn't a deal, sorry, can't finance it for you. You're going to hear a lot of no's. You have to be persistent. You have to find ways to get things done. You have to find ways to get things done. Um, and you can't let anybody's unwillingness to work with you stop you from getting a deal done. Persistence is probably number 2 behind education. I think the third thing that people overlook in terms of being successful in investing is that personally you have to be strong when it comes to finances and management of finances. It does take money to invest. I don't care what anybody tells you. You have to have a certain amount of money to invest, whether it's stock market, real estate, whatever it is. And in order for that money to be available, you have to manage it well. It's not what I talked about this on the last segment, where people may bring in a good amount of money, but it just flies right out of their hands as soon as they get it, or they um, they keep the money that they have, but they're not making enough. They're not bringing enough in to begin with. And I think a lot of us, we have the ability to make more money, but we just don't want to work sometimes more than what we need to bring in more money. And so depending on what side you're deficient on, you got to figure that out. But I think overall, we struggle more with defense than we do offense. We let a lot of money slip out of our hands. We go out to eat. We go to Starbucks every day. We buy the latest and greatest electronics and technology. We always have to have an updated, top of the market cell phone. When the old one, the old iPhone or Android that you had worked perfectly well. It may not look cool, but it works just fine. You can receive calls and you can text and do everything else that you would normally do. We don't really play good defense. We go out to eat all the time. We don't cook. We don't go grocery shopping. We try to keep up with the Joneses instead of holding on to that money and funneling that into an investment that will give you dividends or give you a monthly rent. Um, it blows my mind when I sat down and really began to budget on a monthly basis how much money we were actually blowing through, to the point where now we're at a place where we have a couple $1,000+ available every month. This is outside of investing, because right now we have nothing, because everything is going towards investing now. But in the beginning, we had like an extra 2,000+ to go put into investments. And I was like, I can't believe we were wasting. How in the world did $2,000 slip through my fingers every month? And it's like you look up and before you know it, it's gone. So those are the three things I would say you have to have in order to be successful in investing. You've got to educate yourself, you've got to be persistent in what you're doing, and you've got to manage your money really, really well, because the more money you have available to you, the more money you can invest, and the faster you get to financial independence. And that's what this channel is all about: financial independence and freedom from um, a day job if you don't want to work a day job, freedom from um, expectation from a boss. You know, you want to be your own boss. That's the American dream. Being your own boss, being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Being in a position where you can delegate tasks to other people. Things that maybe take time away from doing what you really want to do or what you really are good at doing. And I think the best way to get to that place is becoming your own boss, and creating a product or creating a business that allows you to do those things. So in order, and overall, the overarching um, idea here is that you have to be your own guru. You have to know exactly what your product is. You have to be good at selling that product. You have to be persistent at knowing all the ins and outs of that product and how to sell it, how to market it, and all the money that comes through that product by way of that product. You need to be really good at holding on to as much as you possibly can. And so I hope this video has been really, really helpful to somebody. You know, don't fall victim to these gurus out here. They don't know what they're talking about 9 times out of 10. You know, I've come across some who are really knowledgeable. They have some really good things to offer. And I want to be clear before I leave on this topic. I want to be really clear that there's some really knowledgeable people out there who have some really awesome products to sell. Case in point, I've just literally less than a week ago purchased um, a product that's going to help me to learn how to structure when I'm buying properties, and how I hold properties, like in my LLC or my name or whatever. I needed some information in terms of how to do that on my own, as opposed to paying someone else to do it for me, because it's something that I'm going to be doing a lot over and every time I buy a property, I'm going to have to do this thing. I bought the program. It was originally $500, which I probably would have paid for, but I was able to get it for 50% off. Okay, and I devoured the information. It was so complete. Okay, the information was so complete. I feel comfortable now doing the documentation on my own, and then just taking it to my lawyer and saying, hey, can you review this so I can make sure that I have all my ducks in a row? Things are great. And that's all I will have to do. It cost me $200, $250 to buy that product, to teach me a skill that will pay for itself with probably the very first time I use it. That's how you invest in your education. Don't give $20,000, $30,000 to some guy who's going to talk to you about finding your why and why you want to invest in real estate and obtaining a millionaire mindset, thinking things into action. And that's BS. You don't need to pay that kind of money for someone to tell you how to think, or to soothe your fears about investing. Go talk to your mother if you need someone to soothe your fears. Come talk to me. I'll talk to you about your fears. You save that money and you invest it properly. You put it into an investment vehicle that you've studied, that you've become a guru in, that you've investigated, you've educated yourself on, and you stay persistent on that until you get the deal. You keep on doing that until you acquire more and more deals, and then you're good to go. And that's really all there is to it. Don't be afraid to take that step. Again, the more educated you are, the less fearful you will be. And I will leave you on that note. I'm Stacy. Thank you so much for joining me again today, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.